Hi everyone, this is a game of Twilight Struggle. My opponent's name is Thanos, my name is Vassal. I'm playing as the Americans and Thanos is playing as the Soviets. Here's my opening hand. I'm probably going to headline Europe scoring. After placing the standard 4 in West Germany and 3 in Italy, I expect standard play from him as well, but we'll see if he wants to go for anything weird like the Comic-Con trap. So it's standard influence 4 in Poland, 1 in East Germany and 1 in Austria, and I'll place 4 in West Germany and 3 in Italy. I'll headline Europe scoring for 0 points. He headlines Asia scoring for 1 point because of his control of North Korea and my lack of control of any battleground. I'm expecting a coup in Iran. It's Stuggle, 3 ops card. He rolls a 1 though, so there's no influence change in Iran. I'm going to use 4 ops to drop 3 in Pakistan and 1 in Iran. He's going to use the China card to try a coup in Pakistan, but he fails to take control of it, meaning I can take control of it with duck and cover for 3 ops. He plays independent reds and I don't get to place any influence because he doesn't have any influence in Yugoslavia, Bulgaria, Romania, or Hungary, or Czechoslovakia. He increases his influence in India by 2. I'm assuming that he doesn't have a 3 ops card because he probably would have liked to take control of India so I couldn't contest it easily. I put 1 in India and 1 in Afghanistan. Control of Afghanistan will mean a few points during the course of the game, and 1 in India will mean that I can potentially take control of Burma for Southeast Asia scoring, which will come in the mid-war. And also, if I take control of Burma, it'll mean that India, a Soviet-controlled India, will not have any Soviet-controlled countries adjacent to it, meaning that Indo-Pakistani war could succeed on a 4-6 if I happen to draw that card. He plays special relationship for 2, takes control of India, and I place 1 in Canada for a potential NORAD. I trigger Arab-Israeli war and place 1 in Malaysia and 1 in Afghanistan. I probably should have placed 1 in Lebanon just to reduce his chances of succeeding in that war by 16-17%. But I didn't. US-Japan Mutual Defense Pact to take control of Korea. Here I play Destalinization, which is a questionable play, but I sort of wanted the ops, and we'll see how it works out. I expect he'll pull some influence from East Germany, Poland, Austria, and Finland. Maybe not Austria and somewhere else, Syria or something, and place that influence in mostly South America. I go 2 into Thailand and 1 into Burma. He takes 1 out of East Germany, 1 out of Poland, 1 out of Austria, and places 1 in Venezuela, 1 in Brazil, 1 in Chile, 1 in France. Where else did he pull? He pulled from Finland as well. He plays CIA created, gets rid of it very early in the game. He has Indo-Pakistani war, unfortunately. I coup Venezuela and take control of it with a very lucky 6. he takes control of Brazil with the 1-op. Here, he has access to Algeria and is in France, which is sort of dangerous because Greece, Turkey, and Spain, Portugal still are not controlled by either of us. So if he takes France and then takes 2 out of 3 of those, it's going to be difficult for me to contest a Soviet domination of Europe. And if he takes Algeria, generally, I've found that whoever takes Algeria in the early war ends up keeping it for the rest of the game unless their opponent really fights for it. So I'm going to Truman Doctrine and get rid of that influence in France. It's now turn 2. NORAD is a good headline. Captured Nazi scientist is also a good headline. NORAD is 3 ops though. I end up headlining Captured Nazi Scientist for a quick 2 points, and being ahead on the space race, he Red Scare purges me, which is crappy. Oh man, another terrible coup. Reduces my influence in Iran by 1, which I'll fix immediately. 1 in Iraq, 1 in Iran. Right, I was Red Scare Purge, so I only have 2 from that. Lebanon and Jordan, which is kind of weird. I guess to stop my avenue for expansion into Egypt and Libya, which kind of makes sense. Greece and Burma. This locks him out of Laos, and I'll probably get Malaysia, Philippines, and Indonesia because I have decall. Oh no, he hits me with the blockade, which I saw last turn. I lose 4 in West Germany. Yikes. I take control of Turkey and France. I'll now attempt to prevent a Soviet domination rather than try and gain it for myself, because I was cut off from West Germany to even place influence into it. Marshall Plan takes control of West Germany. I'll place a bunch of influence. Yeah, and I think he also realizes that I'll be able to easily prevent his domination of Europe. I expect him to place 2 in East Germany, 2 in Poland, and 1 elsewhere. I take control of France, Spain, Portugal. Yeah, and he places the 1 remaining influence in Austria. Romanian abdication. This is sort of an attempt to put up a fight to try and gain Europe domination. Who knows what could happen. I UN intervention Fidel and overprotect Thailand so that if he gets Vietnam revolts, he can't immediately flip Thailand with the Asia card, or the China card, sorry. Wow, I actually get some ops, cool. Israel. So he has a very strong position in Middle East. But he's kind of expanding his influence in a weird way. Because if I had Middle East scoring, I could score it on like very favorable terms right now. Because even though he has the potential to take 3 more battlegrounds, he's doing it very slowly. Like one of those last ops could have been into Egypt, and that would allow him to get Libya on his next turn. I push 1 into Brazil. This is sort of to defend Iran, so that Iran isn't like the auto coup, and also so that he doesn't kick me out of Panama, because I didn't invest in Costa Rica at all, which I probably should have at some point, but I was Red Scare Purge, so I had like no ops. Turn 3. I end up with Middle East scoring, which I'll probably play right now. But have we seen Nasser yet? Let me check. Nasser has not been cast yet. So knowing he knows that I have Middle East scoring, and I know that he has Nasser, so he's definitely gonna headline Nasser right now, because he knows I would love to score Middle East on a 1-to-1 battleground. Level or whatever. If I waited, he would only be able to take more battlegrounds. So I'm gonna still cast it now. Yeah. Having presence in Middle East is worth a whole lot of points, especially if your presence is control of battleground. It's worth 4 points. And unless you're dominating by controlling like every other battleground, you don't really get like a huge amount of points. Oh, it's a coup in Brazil, which means he's going to be able to dominate South America, which is crappy for me. I take Algeria and Taiwan, because I have Formosan Resolution. We're sitting at 3-3 in Asia, so yeah, I guess I'll take control of Taiwan and cast Formosan Resolution. US player is incentivized to hold the China card for as long as possible anyways, because it prevents the Soviets from having an out when they get too many bad US events in their hand, and also it makes Ussuri River Skirmish really, really good if you draw it. He plays Vietnam Revolts. Overprotects East Germany, Poland, even more, Austria, Yugoslavia. I take Laos, Cambodia before he does, and control Taiwan. Oh, he flips Pakistan. I didn't even see that coming. Yes, that always happens to me. I see that I have 3 influence in Pakistan, but totally ignore the fact that he has 1, so that the discrepancy is still 2, meaning he can flip it with the China card. So that's a mistake on my part. Take Indonesia. And overprotect Laos, Cambodia, because he has +1 in Southeast Asia right now. So he could easily use a 2 to flip Laos, Cambodia in his favor. Oh man, yeah. He has Asia scoring. So if I had hurried up and played Formosan Resolution and over-controlled Pakistan so I can flip it, I could actually gain a lot of points right now, but I didn't do that. And actually he ends up gaining a VP off it because 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't actually have Formosan Resolution in play right now, so it's a 4-3 battleground situation right now. No, 4-2, except I have Afghanistan, so yeah, 1 point. And I can't dominate because I have like a bunch of countries. I try and send decall to space, it's not successful. Korean War to overprotect South Korea and Pakistan, wise choice, something I should do more often. I use de Gaulle and repair the damage immediately. He controls Chile and overprotects North Korea. Man, he's playing pretty safe in Asia. And once I use the China card, it'll cancel Formosan Resolution if I even cast it for the event still. No, I use it for 2 ops because I realize this. And you know, sometimes you just need to use a China card. And I think I should be able to prevent his domination of Asia because I have so many countries. It'll be difficult for him to control more countries than me in Asia at this point. I overprotect Venezuela so that a coup will be more difficult for him, and also put more influence into Panama for the same reason. He gains 2 because I didn't coup for any military ops. Oh, 2 scoring cards. So here I should probably headline Junta, which will put us at 2-2 in terms of battlegrounds in South America, and I can score South America scoring for 0 points, which is like damage control. And that'll be good actually, because with that coup I may actually reduce his influence in a South American country so he doesn't have control and he has to fix it. That's not likely because Chile is a 3 stability and he's overprotected Brazil so much. But that's still good for me to coup, so it drops DEFCON and I can probably take control of Africa very easily unless he has ABM treaty, because I'll be able to easily run through Angola, Zaire, and then on a single turn I'll place influence into both Saharan states and Cameroon, so that if he coups one of those non-battlegrounds to try and gain access to Nigeria, I'll take control of Nigeria immediately. So I'm going to headline Junta. He headlines Brezhnev Doctrine, which is scary. It allows the Soviet player to sort of carry that momentum that they build during the early war throughout the early phase of the mid-war, which is very scary. So I take Argentina and coup Brazil down. I actually do very well on that coup attempt, but he still has control, meaning I'll try and chuck South America scoring as soon as possible. Into Uruguay. He's going to try and realign me out of Argentina. Here I should probably place some influence into Paraguay so that I'm protected in Argentina against realignment rules, and also if he is successful still on realignment rules, I can re-control Argentina. So I use flower power, 2 in Paraguay, 1 in South Africa, 1 in Angola, so I'm starting my creep across Africa as well for the eventual Africa scoring. Oh boy, it's a huge coup in Paraguay. So here I can place influence into either Chile, Paraguay, or Uruguay, or coup them to try and get influence in, but that's not an effective way to get influence in, because I would need, with a 4 ops card, I would need a 4 or above to put 1 influence in, and that's sort of a waste of a 4 ops card. So I could use 2 ops to place 1 into Uruguay, so that once he realigns me out of Argentina, I can replace into it. But then I think he's being more ops efficient there, because he's got a +2 bonus on his realignment rolls. So I'm probably just going to chuck South America scoring here and cede Argentina to the Soviet player, so they'll have domination of South America for +4 points whenever it's scored. So neither of us gain points from that scoring, obviously, because we're 2-2 in battlegrounds. Okay, so he realigns me out with Summit. Summit is so much better when it's 2 ops. I just hate drawing that card, it's so bad. Hate is a strong word though. I strongly dislike drawing that card. One in Zaire, South Africa, and Philippines for the eventual C scoring. He was heavily overprotected in Poland, so his playing of John Paul II elected Pope didn't remove his control of Poland. He drops 2 into Libya and starts working on Iraq control. Though it probably would have made more sense just to take control of Iraq now, but that's a small thing. Well, maybe not, because if I played Sadat expels the Soviets, then he has no access to Libya. So actually that was the right play, probably. So I do exactly what I talked about earlier, Saharan states and Cameroon. If he had Che, that would be really good. Actually, wait, didn't I have Che? I can't remember. No. So if he had Che, that would be very good. So let's see. No, Indo-Pakistani war for 3 ops. He coups Cameroon correctly, but I'll take control of Nigeria now. 2 in Nigeria, overprotected, so he can't flip it with a 3, which is very likely because he's under the effect of Brezhnev Doctrine. So 2 in Nigeria, 1 in Zaire, 1 in Zimbabwe. I remember doing this so that like if something crazy happened, I'd still have a non-battleground for domination, but really that would require him removing my control of Nigeria and Saharan states in the same turn, which is not possible. So I don't really know why I did that. It was probably a waste. But later in the game, players usually try and contest their opponent's domination or control of Africa by sprawling across all the cheap non-battlegrounds. There's so many 1 stability battlegrounds that it's easy to prevent your opponent's control or domination of Africa that way. So I guess I'm sort of working towards that, but I'm sort of jumping the gun. I don't really need to do that right now. So he can't really do anything to mess with my control right now because I'm so overprotected in all the countries he's adjacent to in Africa. So I'm probably going to score on African control, which is awesome. Muslim revolution to take me out of Iran and Iraq, which is pretty good. I think he's probably trying to he probably realizes I have Africa scoring, and this is a good play by him because it makes me want to hurry because I see an opportunity for myself to cast Africa scoring and get the points now, but really I should wait and take back Iran because the same situation applies to this turn. He can't really do anything to interrupt my control of Africa except for ABM treaty, which he might have. No, it's Europe scoring for 1 point, putting him up to 11. I gained 10 from Africa, which is awesome, bringing us back to nearly even, and he gets 2 points from military ops. Alright, turn 5. Oh, I got 2 very good neutral events, Brush War and Missile Envy. I'll probably headline Missile Envy. Yeah, I have to deal with We Will Bury You, Fidel, Portuguese Empire crumbles, but not that bad. So I headline Missile Envy, he headlines ABM Treaty. I would have loved to grab that, but most players are aware that your ABM Treaty, or their ABM Treaty rather, can be Missile Envied, which is just the worst feeling ever, so they cast it during the headline. At least that's what I do. But sometimes that's not necessarily the right move. But you take your chances, I guess. He kicks me out of Venezuela, which is very scary, because now he can gain South American control. I draw our man in Tehran, cast it, and discard Che and How I Learned to Stop Worrying. I discard How I Learned to Stop Worrying because it's sort of a filler neutral event that's usually played for ops. Don't get me wrong, it's sometimes really, really good. But I want to increase the density of dangerous US events in the deck so that there's a higher chance that my USSR opponent draws them rather than How I Learned to Stop Worrying, which is not an issue obviously because it's a neutral event. You just play for 2 ops. And Che is a good pickup. So he plays Missile Envy, probably going to coup an African battleground. Yep, he flips there. I use Brush War. It doesn't work. It was victory on a 4-6, so that's really shitty. He's almost certainly going to get South America control now. Whereas if that was successful, I would have gotten Venezuela and Brazil, meaning that South America would score for 0 points. Now it's going to score for 8 points for the USSR player, so it's a really big deal. China card for 2 in Venezuela and 2 in Argentina. Now he has control. I cast Arab-Israeli War. He already has it, but he could have still gained 2 VPs and 2 military ops off of it. But Israel wins. I flip Cameroon to try and realign on Zaire, but it's not a very strong coup. Well, actually, it is a very strong coup. I rolled a 6, but it only puts 2 US influence in because he had 4 in there. In fact, I was hoping on a 5 or 6 to even get ops in there, so maybe that wasn't the best play. But at worst, it would whittle his influence down, allowing me to coup it again in the future, so I can achieve my final goal of trying to realign him out of there. I gain 2 VPs because he plays Nixon plays the China card for 2 ops. He coups Cameroon, 2 influence in there. Sadat expels the Soviets. He drops 2 in Mexico, interrupts my control of Panama, which is pretty damn good because now he can potentially take Colombia and Costa Rica to realign me out of Panama. So Costa Rica is sort of a priority, Colombia less so because you can coup back and forth and hope to get lucky and roll high and drop a lot of influence in there so that your opponent doesn't want to coup back. So Costa Rica is sort of a priority. 1 in Panama to reestablish control and 1 in Costa Rica. He sends colonial rearguards to space for 1 point. I send We Will Bury You to space. Now I may space 2 cards a turn. He attempts a coup in Saharan states but rolls a 1 and fails. I don't get the 2 points because I don't control more battlegrounds. I send Fidel to space for 2 points. Nuclear subs on the last action round. So I can coup there now, which is awesome. Oh, he UN interventions it, okay. He ups his control of Venezuela and 1 in Egypt. 2 in Angola and 2 in Southeast African states. And I take control of Egypt. But Botswana is sort of open now. But he wouldn't give up his coup next turn to take Botswana because then I just coup one of his 1 stability African battlegrounds, which would be really good for me. So I'll get Botswana in the end. So eventually, if I can take control of Zaire, I can realign Angola. Turn 6, and I draw a bunch of good US cards. Voice of America specifically is really, really good. That's probably what I'll headline. Or I might headline Duck and Cover, so he can't coup Nigeria, and then Voice of America later. Or I can even wait and dump 4 ops into... No, he has all the Asian battlegrounds over control. No, I could flip India. If I dropped 4 ops into India, putting myself to 5, and then on the following turn headline Voice of America, I could take control of India. But that's not really that good because that just puts us to 3-3. So it's only 1 VP, so that's not even worth it. I'll headline Duck and Cover. He headlines, oh no, Red Scare Purge again. No, that's shitty. 3 VPs. We're almost at 0 again. Lone Gunman. And he dumps it into Costa Rica, so he knows that Central America's scoring now. But I can dominate Central America, which is like not even that many points for me because he controls the battleground adjacent to me. But I could like try and realign him out if I wanted. But I'm Red Scare Purge right now, so it's not even that good. Or it's costly at least. Voice of America to kick him out of Mexico, Costa Rica, and Panama. So I'm going to go for the Central American control and score Central America for 7 VPs, or sorry, 8 VPs, because he won't have presence in the region unless he wants to coup Costa Rica with a 4 ops card with the hopes of getting some influence in, but that's probably not worth it. He plays Bear Trap? Over controls West Germany, India. He actually needed to spend one more op there, which I didn't notice when I was playing. OAS founded to break control of Venezuela. I guess his Bear Trap isn't that bad because I'm so weak right now because of Red Scare Purge. He cancels it by discarding Usuri River Skirmish. I take control of Venezuela. He tries to send Nora to space and is unsuccessful. One in Mexico, one in Cuba, one in Botswana. Right, that's still a goal. Totally forgot about that. Panama Canal returned. And he tries to realign Venezuela? That's a bit odd because he could easily remove his own influence from it because he has no bonus realigning on it. So that's an odd play. But maybe it's worth it. Because if he is lucky and he removes 2 influence of mine, then he has a +1 advantage for the second roll. I take control of Venezuela, Mexico. He continues to try and flip Venezuela. Yeah, he places 1 influence into it by spending 2 ops. I recontrol it. And right at this point, I was unable to muster up enough ops to take Cuba. Actually, I could have either taken Cuba for control, which would have been 3 more points, or I could have taken Venezuela. Maybe taking Cuba was better, actually, but Fidel is still out there, so he'll wreak havoc on me. This is still a good amount of points, 5 VPs, but it could have been 8. I'm not sure. 5-year plan. Oh boy, that hurts real bad. He discards Southeast Asia scoring with 5-year plan, which is a really sick play. And he drops those ops into Venezuela. Yikes, man. I score Central America for 5. And on to turn 7. Wow, I draw Africa scoring again, which is cool. And I have grain sales, meaning I'll headline it and most likely flip one of the 1 stability African battlegrounds that the Soviet player controls. But I'm trying to think what scoring cards are for sure in his hand, if any. We saw South American scoring, Central American scoring, African, Southeast Asia, Europe. Asia. He should have Asia scoring. I can't remember if Asia scoring was played. And I actually just can't remember. Maybe Middle East scoring. South African unrest. Okay. I hit kitchen debates, which is one op as opposed to two ops from grain sales itself. I don't control Zera, but I kick his influence out. So he's just going to recontrol it in a hurry. He breaks my control of South Africa and reinforces Angola. Nuclear test ban for 4 ops. Controls Venezuela and over controls there. I establish control of South Africa, Botswana, and 1 in Finland. 2 more ops in Finland will mean that Europe scores for 0 because he's gaining 1 off the 3-2 battleground ratio, and Finland will give me 1 VP, so it cancels out that 1 VP for the Soviet player. It takes control of Iraq and starts working on Saudi Arabia. I just score Africa now for 4 VPs. Kitchen debates to take control of Saudi Arabia. It doesn't trigger. Camp David Accords for 1 in Israel, 1 in Jordan, and 1 in Egypt. He retakes Israel and Jordan. I use Ask Not What Your Country Can Do For You to discard OPEC, Quagmire, and the Cambridge 5. And I draw some sick cards. ABM Treaty, Arms Race, and Indo-Pakistani War. I'm ahead on VPs. So unless he coups one of like my African battlegrounds or something, which he may do, to prevent my domination, I'm going to use that for 3 VPs. He sends lines for progress to space, which is only 2 VPs for me, so maybe he could have used those 3 ops. He is successful, however. I gain 3 VPs from Arms Race, which happens to be better than Central American scoring when the US player is dominating and the Soviet player simply controls either Cuba or Mexico. Central America only scores for 2 VPs for the US player in that scenario, which is like really bad. Suez Crisis. He coups Saharan states, and it's a big one. Now he can realign at +1 in Nigeria. I flip 0 with ABM Treaty, and now I can realign at +2 on Angola. NATO hits play. Oh, mistake. He realigns Nigeria. And he is eventually successful after using all 4 ops. That's how it goes sometimes with rolls. I try and flip Pakistan. I'd be successful on a 5 or 6, but I think it'd be worth it, so that's why I cast it. Oh, I forgot about flower power. as I always do. He gains 2 VPs. And we're on to late war. Yes, I draw Red Scare Purge, but it's way less effective this late in the game compared to like early game, turn 1 even. It's brutalizing turn 1. I get C scoring, which is awesome. I headline Red Scare Purge because it's the best headline. Liberation Theology from him. Breaks control of Mexico and into Costa Rica. Oh, he attempts to coup Mexico with basically 3 ops, but it's not very successful. Honestly, should have just couped Sierra or something. I don't know why he's so interested in Mexico. When you're Red Scare Purged and you're going to be using your Asia card, or giving it up rather, to your opponent to coup, just coup a 1 stability, like those 3 ops would make it so that a 3 or more gives him control of Sierra. To gain control of Mexico, he also needs a 3 or more. Okay. So I guess they're both legit. I repair Mexico. Oh, that's why he did it. He has Central American scoring. So I gain 3 VPs there. I'm up to 12 points now. Victory is sort of within my reach, actually. If I score Southeast Asia for 6 points, which I'll be able to do if I take Malaysia, I'll be at 18 points. Special relationship is 2 more. So I can win this turn if he doesn't have ways to gain VPs. And the space race won't give him any VPs because his next achievement would be to gain 0 VPs by sending a man in space. Salt negotiations for 1 in Cameroon and 1 in Malaysia. Oh no, Aldrich Ames remix. He snipes Southeast Asia scoring, so I'm not going to win this turn now. I play another war card, giving him 2 VPs and take control of Nigeria. He realigns me out of Nigeria. I flip Pakistan with Brush War. Success on 4 to 6 because he had India, but I got it. And again, he gained 2 VPs. From the war card. He takes Nigeria. I realign Angola and Cameroon. So I have domination of Africa. He flips Zimbabwe, probably Cameroon too. Maybe I should have sent that to space. One small step. Oh boy, okay, he jumps ahead of me. My chance at victory this turn has just been pwned. Glass knot. I flip Nigeria. Maybe I should have tried to flip Libya or something there, because that would prevent his domination of Middle East. But I want some sources of points for myself too. But this is annoying because he still has a +1 realignment on Nigeria. He again realigns me out. I gain 2 VPs and jump into Poland. Ah yes, you're not allowed to go into Poland with special relationship. I probably should have put it in Finland actually, but I break control of West Germany. Oh boy, South America scoring. But I got a junta. I headline Missile Envy. He headlines Will Bury You. Which is sort of a weird headline from him. Because he should want to coup there. So I don't really know why he does that. Maybe for the VPs, which sort of makes sense. I grabbed the Iron Lady, which is like better for him than me. I guess I gained 1 VP, but that card's really for Soviets, because if a Soviet player uses that card, they can potentially break US control of Argentina. And then if they were already in Argentina or are in a country adjacent to Argentina, they can actually flip Argentina if US was only controlling it with 2 ops. So for example, if US had 3 and USSR had 1 in Argentina, if the USSR player played Iron Lady for the event before the ops, he could put Argentina to 3-2 in favor of the US, and then use the 3 ops from the Iron Lady to flip it. He uses Missile Envy to jump into Nigeria. I try and coup Cameroon. It's not successful. He scores Middle East for 4. I cast nuclear subs to try and coup Nigeria. Star Wars to break my control of Iran, which is kind of scary at this point. I definitely don't want him to gain control of the Middle East, which can still happen if he gets Muslim Revolution. And I believe it was reshuffled. Yeah, I don't think it was played on turn 7, so I think it's still in the deck. And if he can actually just draw up 2 influence into Iran and Egypt, or at least get up to 2 influence in Iran and Egypt, then playing Muslim Revolution will just give him control of it. It'll flip it. So that's really good. I recontrol Iran and dump 1 into Cuba for potential control eventually. I'm really hoping he doesn't have Fidel at this point. He plays the Voice of America? Oh, okay, UN intervention. He breaks into Angola. Junta to jump into Venezuela. And I coup it, but it's not successful. A 4 there would have given me control of Venezuela, meaning I could score South America for four points in favor of the Soviet player rather than 10 at this point, because I don't even have presence. He recontrols Venezuela. I gain 1 VP off Asia now, because we're at 3-3 and I have Afghanistan. So that's cool. And he controls Angola, which I totally didn't even notice, so I probably should have done that, but I can still realign at +2. So I dump 3 ops into Venezuela, I break his control with 2, and then dump 1 more, and 1 into Colombia. So if he coups Colombia, he would have domination for 7 points. If he recontrols Venezuela, he has control for 8 points. So I reduced the damage a bit, but not a substantial amount. He recontrols Venezuela and plays into Nicaragua. Give him 8 VPs, and we're on the last turn. Probably just headline terrorism. I don't think I'm winning off on scoring here. He dominates Middle East and South America. I could dominate Central America, but I don't think that's going to happen. If he has Fidel. If he doesn't, maybe. He's at +1 in Europe. 0 if I take control of Finland for 2 ops, which is probably worth it. And who knows about Africa? So I'll probably headline. Well, Usuri River Skirmish isn't that bad either, because getting the China card is like 2 points, basically. Yeah, that's what I do. So I get the China card, and he puts DEFCON to 3? Or 4, rather? Okay, that's why. I get 2 VPs from that, which is cool. He flips there. Now he's dominating. So this game's not looking good. I think I'm going to lose it. Oh, wow. I hit him with the terrorism with the hopes of a DEFCON victory at this point. But the chances of that are very slim, because he just used duck and cover safely. CI created was thrown out way early, and so basically the only card that would give me a DEFCON victory right now is Soviets shoot down Cal 7. So if he has that card and has to play it, then I win the game, because DEFCON is at 2. So that's basically my only out right now. He does have Fidel, which is crappy, because now Central America scores for 2 points for me. Cool. I flip Nicaragua with the hopes of realigning Cuba and taking control. If I can go from getting 2 points from Central America to getting 8 or 7, that's a huge source of VPs for me right now, and I don't really have many other sources. He flips Nicaragua. I flip Angola. he's successful at sending East European unrest to space for 3 VPs. That's huge. Remove his influence from Nicaragua. Would have been nice to get some influence in there, because I really don't have the action rounds to place influence and then realign and then replace in it. In fact, run the 4 turns, place, influence, realign, place. I could do it, but that'd be everything. That'd be all my action rounds, and I sort of need to disrupt his I have to disrupt him with my last action round. So either Middle East by breaking control of 2 of his countries, putting us to 2-2, removing 4 points, 4 points from him, or to disrupt his control of Asian battleground, which is 1, 2, 3, 11, 6 points for me. Mom, coming in 1 second. Sorry about that, my mom was calling me. Right, so yeah, I can't afford to spend all my ARs on trying to control Cuba right now, because that's 5 VPs. That's a 5 VP gain for me, and disrupting his control of a battleground in Asia is 6 VPs. So that's the better plan, I guess. Well, actually it's not 6 VPs, because I'm giving him the China card. So it's 4 VPs. Okay. So let's see what I actually do. I can't remember. He overprotects Venezuela and Brazil to avoid shenanigans with my final AR. I'm trying to re-establish African domination right now, but I fail because I roll a 1. Oh no, decolonization, that's brutal. Okay, now there's no way I'm gaining domination of Africa. I used the China card to repair this damage. Yikes, man. I needed to do that. I can't afford letting him dominate Africa, because right now it's at +1 for me, and if he dominated it, it'd be at plus whatever 4 for him, maybe more. Okay, so now I'm dominating Asia because he plays Formosan Resolution, which is awesome, but he breaks control, and with my last action I re-control Japan and do something meaningless. So let's see, we're sitting at +4 for him, and there's no way I'm positive on final scoring because he's at +1 here, -2 here, so -1, +8, +7. I'm at +1 here, so +6, +10, +4 because I'm getting 6 here. So he's gaining 4 points, I think, something like that. He gains 5. Right, he has a China card for 1 extra VP. So that was a good game. Until next time, guys, keep struggling. Bye now.